Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Esoteric Atlanta. Of course, my name is Brice. You guys know my partner in crime, one of my besties, Paula here. How you doing, Paula?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm so good. It's so good to be back. I feel like we haven't filmed in a long time
I
because I
know
was
it feels like
traveling
forever.
and you were traveling too. And of course, we text all the time because, we're friends and business partners. So I forget sometimes that we haven't actually talked to our friends
Yeah.
together online for a few weeks. But it's that crazy time of year for us here in the United States because it's summer for us here in the
Mhm.
USA. I know it's winter for you guys, but we know I hope everybody is doing well. It's very hot here right now. It's like 113 in Florida, which I think is like 45 Celsius or something.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
it's incredibly hot right now. So please, it's that gross kind of heat, you guys. So I hope if you're down in the Southeast that you are taking care of yourself. And
Mhm.
Paula, it's funny down here in the Southeast, if you don't have air conditioning in your house, the house is condemned by the government. That's how,
Wow.
because it's so humid here. So it can like
Yeah.
literally kill you, like not having air conditioning. So I hope you guys are taking care of yourself. So we've got a fun video today. We're going to react to a video that my boyfriend put up that's really important. But before we do that, guys, I want to show you guys something. So we have created, and we're hoping to do a lot more. We've created a 10-day shadow work challenge. It's totally free. It is on the Academy though. It's like on the free page, the first page you go on to, it's right there. So you don't have to be a part of the Academy to do this. But you can, but you don't have to. We've done shadow work challenges on my channel for a 30-day and a 60-day. This is a 10-day, so you can do it whenever you want. You can redo it over and over again. There's a little bit more flexibility with this 10-day shadow work challenge. And so you guys, if you would like to, it's our gift to you. If you would like to do it, please just go to the Esoteric Academy and download it. So, is there anything you want to add to that, Paula, about this shadow work challenge before we talk
Yeah,
about
well,
the new
so
feature?
far we've been getting some really great feedback on it. We've had quite a few people participating in it and have absolutely been loving it. So Brice has done it in video format this time because I believe that before you kind of did it more, was it in like a PDF kind of format?
Yeah, it was a PDF. People had to email for the PDF, but we did it video this time. Yes.
Yeah, so it's different. And then I also included a meditation for letting go that you can listen to each day. It's just a 10-minute one, so it's not too long. And yeah, we've been getting some great feedback. We'd love you to join up. It's for completely free, but just obviously just to join, we just need you to create an account. It's just a free account so that you can just sign in, access it all, and do it as many times as you like. And then yeah, and then obviously it's no cost at all. But we just, yeah, we'd like to run quite a few of these and just help people work through and get onto the healing process, getting
Yeah.
with their healing.
We've got some things up our sleeve. We've got some other shadow work challenges with different themes involved that we're planning on doing as well, just to create a library. Hopefully with this one, the way I set it up is I'm trying to also kind of teach you at the same time, like what exercises to pick for whatever purpose you're looking for mentally and emotionally to work through. We do have a course on the Esoteric Academy called the Alchemy of Movement, which is a course I do teach here live in Atlanta, where we talk about the recipe of exercise and how to pick specific exercises for whatever you're going through or whatever you want to work on, because different exercises are going to create different reactions in your body and in your mind. And that's something that we hope to do, is educate people on how to be smart. It's like a cooking class, but for exercise, like how to be smart when it comes to picking what you need for your body and for more importantly, your mind at that time. But speaking of for your body, Paula, we're creating a whole new playlist
We
on
are.
our platform. We want to talk about that briefly, the Get Your Body Back playlist?
Yeah, well, we just wanted to help support, mums that have had babies and maybe they want to get their pre-baby body back, and just anybody. Maybe you've had some health issues, maybe life has just been really stressful, and maybe you've just put on some weight. And even though we don't really like to focus too much on the weight aspect of things because we're really trying to teach exercise in a way of healing and spirituality and a part of life. But hey, we've got to be honest, like so many of us do struggle with weight issues, and we really want to help support you in that. So we've decided to create a new playlist to help support and focus on that. And we're going to call it Get Your Body Back. So we're going to get that set up this week. And yeah, just to help for people that just really want to improve their weight basically, and that will just
Yeah.
guide them along with what classes that are going to be best suited for them. Yeah.
Absolutely. And we were saying before we filming, so many people, I get this question a lot. And if you're looking to lose weight, fantastic. But most of the time when people have gained weight, there's been some stress going on in their life. And so we got to look at your nervous system
Mhm.
that's in your cortisol levels. And so a lot of people are very confused. They think that to lose weight, they need to do high cardio, high calorie burn work. And that's only going to cause you to gain more weight. And so I am going to make an introductory video on that to kind of explain that to you guys. I also talk about in the alchemy of movement. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of the exercises that have already been planned that are really good for weight loss, like the bar fusion classes, the more anaerobic classes that are going to set you up to get your body strong and slim and help calm your nervous system down. So you're not burning empty calories, you're actually burning stored glucose. And for longer, you have that metabolic lift all day. That's the weightlifting, the anaerobic work, which really that's going to give you that metabolic, that's going to raise your metabolism in a healthy way versus freaking your nervous system out where your nervous system thinks you're like in feast or famine because you're running and you're just trying to eat all these things because you're stressing your nervous system out more. And so for those that do need to lose weight, and that's a goal for you, we're going to set that up for you so that you have an actual, because our exercises are divided by like cardio, flush, dance, fusion, strength and stretch. And that's great for people who are just looking for health benefits or
Mhm.
spiritual benefits. But if you specifically want to target weight loss, we're going to do that for you. And we're going to put different videos in that playlist that are specifically for and our Ayurvedic manual that goes over the doshas.
Yes, because that will be very
Yeah.
helpful. Because and that's something important to note as well, because you've explained to me, Brice, because I said in the past, I was quite scared about doing too much exercise because I've always been a pretty small eater. I don't really eat big meals. I kind of more of a snacker and eat kind of
Mhm.
frequently. And that has kind of been to my benefit in the sense that I've never really gotten really big. I mean, obviously when I had my babies and stuff, I put on weight and after the pregnancy and stuff, but then I usually lost it and got back to normal pretty quickly because I've never been a really big eater. But I also haven't been a really big exerciser. And so I was always scared that if I got too much into exercise, I was just going to get so hungry and then I would just eat too much and then get really big. And I was afraid of that happening. And so you've explained to me that it's the aerobic work that kind of makes you hungry, and it's the anaerobic work that doesn't make you hungry. And that's what kind of helps you to continue burning calories even while you're asleep. So that's why
Yes.
strength training is so incredibly important. And doing the anaerobic kind of works, which is like the yogas, and you were saying the bar fusion
Yeah,
and
that's mostly anaerobic. Yeah. Bar
Mhm.
fusion. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're the kind of exercises that you want to be doing. And then I think also probably just making sure, like another thing that I've done is I struggle to not eat enough protein. And because I'm not really much of I don't really eat meat, like
Mhm.
pretty rarely if I eat meat. So I don't always get enough protein in my diet. So just doing things like having a protein shake can be helpful, having a lot of eggs. I mean, I do eat dairy, yogurt. I like natural Greek style yogurt.
Mhm.
I try and buy the milk that's not like it's pasteurized but not homogenized or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if I could get raw milk, I probably would. But it's a bit hard to get a hold of.
When you're in a city, it's not that easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not very available when you're in the city, but the cream on top milk, that's the one I've
Yeah.
been getting. And then so I feel like that's closest to the more natural kind of milk you can get. That just having things like that, cheese and kind of but healthy protein, like healthy
Yeah.
dairy products is a good source of protein and
And we can talk about that one day too, because I'm a staunch vegetarian and I know protein is important. So we can talk about like how to get your protein when you're
yeah.
not eating meat, because actually there's more protein in like vegetables than there are in meat.
Exactly.
Like,
And we're so fooled
so
into believing that, that there's
you
not.
gotta take
Yeah.
the life of another innocent being in order. Interesting how that works, right?
Yeah.
In order, yeah. Like for today, for what I had for breakfast this morning before we filmed, I had whole wheat toast with organic peanut butter and bananas on top.
Yes.
Super high
Awesome.
protein. The bananas are great for people who are doing a lot of exercise. I eat a lot of bananas.
Yeah.
So you learn how to feed yourself. And when you're feeding your body properly and you're trying to lose weight, like really giving your body what it needs with anaerobic work, so the nervous system is calming down, you're going to find yourself kind of losing your appetite. Like you're only going to be hungry when you physically need fuel.
Mhm.
And so that's, we just want people to be safe about it. We know the 80s and the 90s, they tried to convince us that we needed to run a bunch of miles to lose weight. And running is great for your heart health. It's great to move your blood. Like there are benefits to cardio, but if you are trying to lose weight, cardio is going to sabotage it,
Yeah,
you
and
know.
I
So
think
it,
it's really important that people understand this because if you're on the weight loss journey and you're doing all the wrong kind of exercises, not at your fault, it's just that's how we've been programmed to believe that that's what we're meant to do.
yeah,
And then if
cycle.
and then you get frustrated because you're working so hard and you don't understand why you're not getting results.
And you're
Another
probably
thing,
swollen too from too much cardio. You're probably a little swollen as well.
yeah,
Too much
okay,
cardio
yeah.
will swell you. Yeah. So anaerobic is going to calm that down and flush your lymphatic system. Like I was telling you, Paula, I was trying to combine your name with cardio for some reason. Um, when I was, you only for the cardio, the magical cardio is the heart, getting the heart pumping, the lungs pumping, the oxygen in the blood, getting it to filter through your system. That's why we flush everything. We drop. That's why people can go to the bathroom easier. But too much is going to have
Yeah.
the opposite effect, where your nervous system is fried and your cortisol levels raise. You only need 7 to 10 minutes of cardio. That's all you need to get the benefit before the body goes into like nervousness.
Mhm.
So the fusion classes that I create, they're based off of the Ashtanga template, where the first 7 to 10 minutes, that's when we do the sun salutations.
Mhm.
That's all cardio. That's the to warm you up and active stretching. Then after that, it's all anaerobic work. Now you will sweat, and a lot of people have this misunderstanding. They think that you only sweat when you do cardio. If you're doing anaerobic work properly, you're
Mm.
going to sweat way more.
Yeah.
You're going to be drenched in sweat because your body's having to dig deeper to pull out. That's what sweat is. Your fascia is like your biggest detoxing organ. So that sweat is pushing out, but it's digging deep with the anaerobic work to push out impurities from the body. And that's that deep burn. It's exhausting the muscle to make the muscle stronger, which is going to give you a higher lifted metabolism. And so that's what we want to do. I hate it. I think they put us on that cycle. It's like this, so many people I know, their weight fluctuates. Like they go on this like journey of fluctuation where
Yeah.
they gain a bunch of weight, lose. Now, of course, all of us, our weight fluctuates like 5 pounds during the month, especially women when we're on our cycle. That's normal. But we're talking 20 pounds up, 20 pounds down, 20 pounds up, 20 pounds down. It's because you've been taught and you've been programmed wrong information.
Mhm.
And so that's what we want to do is how if weight loss is a goal for you, Paula and I think I can speak for you, Paula, we want to give you the tools to make this as healthy as possible
Absolutely.
and that you understand your body and so you can nip this in the bud
Yeah.
once and for all.
Yeah. No, like because dieting, waste of time.
Yeah,
And in fact it actually worsens. I mean, in Ayurveda they teach you that if you go on diets and restricting foods, it actually damages your metabolism. We do not want to be,
absolutely.
yeah, we don't want to be
No.
damaging our metabolism. So please don't diet. It's the worst thing. And I
Eat for
know
your
from
eat
experience, you know.
Eat for your dosha. That's going to
Yeah.
help you with your nutritional needs. Just while we're putting the Ayurvedic manual in there, I will say too. So a lot of people think, yeah, when you lose weight, you have to be calorie deficient. Obviously, that's how that works. But a lot of times people will be like 200 pounds and they want to get to like 140, let's say. So they restrict all this food. That's not how we do this. So
Mhm.
if you're 200 pounds, for the first part, you're going to be eating like a 190-pound person. So you're just going to cut a little bit out.
Ah, okay.
And then when you get to 190 pounds, we're going to now have you eaten like a 180-pound person. So then you're going to adjust it a little bit more. So you're not just depriving yourself.
Yes.
Just slowly.
Smart.
Sometimes that might just mean taking away one snack during the day,
Yeah.
right? So
See,
it's a slow.
and that is so much more realistic and easier to stick with than having
Yes,
to just deprive yourself or cutting out food groups, you know, and then you're missing out on nutritional value. So there's just, yeah, I'm so
we want
against
to
dieting, but
Yeah, we want to take this slow. Slow and steady wins the race. It also doesn't shock your body as much. And when you really get deep into exercise, what's going to also happen too, I promise you, is you're going to want to eat differently because you're going
yeah.
to start to feel better when you eat certain foods over other foods and worse when you eat. So you're going to naturally, it's going to be a natural evolution. And
Mhm.
that's again why we're putting I don't, Paul and I are not nutritionists. If you want to see nutritionists, go for it. The Ayurvedic, though, the dosha for me is really the kicker, is what's going to really give your body. Sometimes I think people overeat because they're not eating for their dosha. They're
Yes.
eating for what they've been told is healthy, but
Mhm.
their body can't handle that food, and so the body's not absorbing the nutrients, and so they're always hungry. But if you start to eat for your dosha, that probably is going to change where you're not going to be feel snacky. You're not going to be
Well,
hungry because your body is getting nutrients.
it's going to satisfy you properly because if you're a cuppa type, you can handle eating lots of fruits and veggies and salads and raw foods. That's going to be perfect for you. But if you're a vata type, like me and Brice are, I
Yeah.
mean, I just do not cope on that and juicing
No,
and things like that. I mean, I've tried to do juicing, detoxing and stuff like that, and I love juices. I love salads. I love raw.
it's because it's Vata. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the Vata food group. So if
but
you're Vata, you're
my
craving Vata
body
food, but yeah,
my body
but your
does
body
not
shuts
like it.
down.
I start getting all kind of delirious and like
I
lightheaded and I feel
swell.
weak.
If I eat a
Yeah.
raw apple, my stomach swells up like I'm 6 months pregnant. But
Wow.
who's someone who's kappa, they need that. They need so that explains it in the manual. And for a lot of people, I feel like since I've been talking about this, it's been like it's once you learn it, it's kind of common sense. Like you start to see it very differently and see where you've been programmed. So yeah, you guys, and I will say too, before we get into it, Paul and I talked about this, and we're going to talk to we have a class on Saturday, a live class at 8 a.m. Eastern time. We're going to go over active stretching
Mhm.
for more intentional movement. I want to teach our students how to actually work out. Like we're going to actually look at how to actually do it, like to really get to know your body. If you want to sign up for the academy to join that class, you do get the first 7 days for free. So if you want to do it, and try it out, you do get 7 days for free. I'd love to have anybody there. That's it's my favorite thing to do is to teach people this stuff because to see people take their power back is so incredible. Like to understand their bodies from a really deep, subtle level. And so with that being said, for our audience watching or for our members on the academy, I want to know in the comment section below, or you can email us privately if you want to. What's our email address at the academy,
Yeah, so it's
Paula?
admin at the esotericacademy.com.
Okay, that will be in the description box. If you have any questions about weight loss, either ask me in the comment section below, I
Yep,
can address it. Or if you, do you want to keep it private and anonymous, email us and I will also address it anonymously.
yep,
Okay, because that's we're here to serve. I
yep.
am here to serve you guys. So let us know. We would love to help you guys with that. But with that being said, are we
Oh,
ready to jump into it, Paula? Or
well,
go ahead.
sorry, I did just want to ask you one question before we jump into it. Is just with regards to weight loss and people getting into an exercise routine. I guess sometimes there is a little bit of confusion, well, for me anyway, about, you know, whether people should be exercising every single day or whether they should be doing a more intense workout and then having a rest day and then a more intense workout. Because I know that with you with your training with Ashtanga yoga, you're doing it 6 days a week, and you
Mhm,
kind of did that from the beginning. Am I right?
mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I jumped right in to 6 days
Yeah.
a week.
So, I mean, what would you suggest to people that, because I also understand that if you're only working out maybe one, two, three times a week, you're not going to get results and you're not going to
No.
lose weight. And then you're going to feel like, oh, this isn't working. What's the point of doing it? And yeah, I just really want to clarify that for people that if you want to lose weight, you kind of have to commit to like what would
Yeah, you
you,
got to get uncomfortable. You got to.
yeah.
I would rather, so if you do less than 3 days a week, nothing's going to happen.
Hmm.
Like if you only eat healthy for 2 days a week, nothing's going to happen,
Yeah.
right? So we have to get your body into that state of getting used to it. So I would suggest for beginners 3 to 4 days a week to begin.
Hmm.
And you need to, so as far as like, you know, I know a lot of people won't be able to do an hour right away, but I would rather a beginner student do 5 days a week of exercise of only 30 minutes, 5 days a week,
Hmm.
than 3 days a week at like 45 minutes.
Okay.
The more consistently you can get your body hot and sweaty, the faster your body's going to start to change, the faster your mind is going to start to change, and the more used to it your body, you are going to get sore. Being sore doesn't, it's you still got to exercise when you're sore. That's your body rebuilding. And if you stop and rest every time you get sore,
You're never going to break through, are
you're
you?
never, yeah, it's never going to change. It's
Yeah.
just that's your muscles getting stronger. So embrace that soreness. And with soreness, once you start getting your blood pumping again, you get hot and sweaty, it usually goes away for the workout
That's what
anyway.
I've noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would definitely suggest, so if you're new to this, I would do, if you're a beginner, You're doing 3 to 4. Now, this is nuanced. It depends on different people. Like I was able to jump into 6 days a week right away with Ashtanga because I was already a long distance runner. I was already very fit. So I was able, that wasn't a shock to me to do 6 days a week because I was already doing that,
Yeah.
with other things. So we're going to build you up to that. It's depending on how much weight you have to lose. If you're massively overweight, I don't want you doing anything over 20 minutes. I want you like first starting out just walking for 20 minutes
Mhm.
just to get your knees okay. Don't go over 20 minutes until we've lowered your weight a little bit, just to get that pressure off your knees. But for that question too, for most people who only have like 20 or 30 pounds to lose, I'm going to put you in a higher resistance category. Like, all right, if you only have 20 or 30 pounds to lose, 50 pounds to lose, let's do 4 or 5 days a week. If we're picking 5 days a week, let's do 3 days at 45 minutes and then 2 days at like 20 minutes. And then we'll up it from there as we get fitter and as you start to feel better in your body. But everybody's going to be different. Every person, depending on like where Paula is now, I would definitely tell her to just jump into 6 days a week
Mhm. Yeah.
because she doesn't have a lot of extra weight pressing on her joints.
Yeah.
So that might be a struggle for her to do it 6 days a week, but we want that struggle, right? But her joints are pretty healthy right now.
Yeah.
So we can go ahead and put that into her, right?
Mhm.
So she gets one day of physical rest,
Yeah. Because
And
and
so
that's what we have to do to get results. And
yes,
I just kind of also just want to kind of share because look, this is something I've struggled with myself as well. But I just kind of want to put out there for people because I feel like in the countries that we're in we have a lot of luxuries and a lot of comfort, and we as soon as things start to get a little bit tougher, a little bit hard, we tend to give up. But I just really want to remind people that no matter you've got to get uncomfortable, and you also have to, if you want to get top results, it's like any kind of business person, anybody that's successful in business or finance or anything, marketing, anything like that. You're not going to get results from just trying a little thing here and trying a little thing there and then, oh, that's too hard, I'm going to give up. So it's exactly the same with exercise. You can't just think, oh, I'll do it a couple of days this week and I'll see how I go. And like you said, you can't just eat 2 days a week. You've really got to, if you want to get results, you really have to go above and beyond what everybody else does and what is comfortable for everybody else. So like for you, Brice, people say, oh, it's all right for you. You're so slim. You've got such a great body. And you do. You have a great body, but that's because you work so hard at it.
I work my ass off.
Yeah.
People, you guys have no, I sweat 2 to 3 hours a day.
Mhm.
I'm in sweat. Like I practiced this morning, then after this I'm going to go out for a run. Like I'm constantly working my body. I'm constantly pushing it, and it is not comfortable. My mind is always messing with me, but the difference is I know that's going to come. I know my mind's going to be like, "Stop it. This hurts." I already know that, so it's like a petulant child. I could just come on, come on, come with me. So yeah, it's not you're never going to change in your comfort zone
Mhm. Yeah,
with
you've
anything.
got it. Yeah, with anything, with
With
your
anything.
career, with anything in life, you really have to do what the only the 1 to 2% of people do if you want to get results. And I think also that's another thing, what you just said about your mind. You've really got to I heard somebody saying recently, like you can give that kind of alter ego a name if that helps, and you can just kind of talk to it and just say, like, I don't know, call it Sally or
Come
something.
on,
It's like,
Nancy.
yeah, it's just like, yeah. So, oh, Nancy's just giving me a hard time today. Can't be bothered getting up, but I'm going to get up. That's nice that Nancy feels that way or whatever. If that helps, just do whatever self-talk you can.
Mhm.
And look, I'm saying this, I'm sharing this with people because I struggle with this daily. I know you struggle with it as well.
The struggle doesn't go away.
It doesn't,
It
yeah.
changes because you're
Mhm,
used to it,
mhm,
but it doesn't go away ever, ever. I see it with my more advanced students too, that the days where they come in and I can see their minds really messing with them. And sometimes those days when your mind is really heavy, those end up being your better practices, your better workouts because you've done it anyway, even when you have that extra resistance in the mind.
yeah,
And that's just part of it. That is, yeah, you don't change in your comfort. You don't build muscles unless there's resistance.
yeah,
And you have the muscles. And I want to say too, I don't mean to sound mean, but you're not a delicate flower.
yeah.
You're not going to break. Like you're not, I see that all the time and people, my big toe hurts or my elbow. I'm like,
Like, really?
I have two forms of arthritis in my body. Like, what are you talking about? I practiced through a broken sacrum and a broken wrist. What are you talking about? Like, you're not a delicate flower.
Yeah.
You are the product, our ancestors collectively, we're the products of people who survived plagues,
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
survived wars, who settled countries and built, like, you are not a delicate flower. You are tough. You will handle it. You might get bumps and bruises along the way, but that's okay. That's where you grow and learn. And so don't be a little covert narcissist and think that you're the special exception to the rule. No, you're not. And that's the beauty of it, is that you're not the exception to the rule.
Mhm.
You are part of the magic. In your body, you have the same muscles in your body that athletes do.
We
You
just
have the
work
same.
them.
Yeah, you got the same muscles. With the only difference is those athletes' muscles are awake. Yours are
Yeah.
asleep.
Mhm.
So we just got to wake them up, and get them active again. I want to say too, people, sometimes when we do a lot of back strengthening, we'll have a sore back. Don't panic. Your back is going to get sore just like your biceps, just like your quadriceps, but people freak out with their back. You have muscles in your spine, these little muscles that run along your spine, and they're totally active when you're a kid. That's why, like Scarlett, little kids can like do back bends and crazy stuff because their muscles are alive. But then
Mhm.
when we go to school and we sit at desk and as activity starts to lessen, those muscles are typically some of the first to go into atrophy. And so we gotta wake up. This doesn't mean they're not there. It just means they went to sleep. So we
Yeah.
just gotta wake them up again.
And we have to remember that we live a lifestyle now where they're not being awoken all the time. Back in our ancestors were working on farms and walking everywhere and riding
Mhm.
horses and doing a lot of active lifestyle all day long. Whereas we're sitting at desks, a lot of us. I know that there are plenty of people out there that have really active jobs, and that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's great. But I'm talking about the people that don't have the active jobs. You really need to and so taking half an hour to an hour out of your day when you've been sitting at a desk for 8 hours isn't really that much when you think about it from that perspective. And you really need to do that for your body because, and I was just going to say, please join the Esoteric Academy on Instagram because we are
Yeah, we're giving a
constantly
lot of, yeah.
sharing. And oh my God, this woman, she's 71 years old. And oh my God, she looks like she was 45. I
Yeah.
shared it just the other day. I mean, it's just, there are so many incredible people on there in their 70s, 80s, 90s years, and they're doing incredible workouts. And it's just showing you that this is what our body is capable of. It is such a lie that we can't do it. So yeah,
Yeah,
we're doing some stuff there, but then we're sharing a lot of stories and a lot of our
sorry, hold on,
stories,
guys. Here.
the
I wasn't
stories
logged
have
in, so
got,
I was trying to prompt me.
yeah.
Sorry, it
But
was
yeah,
trying to
it's
prompt
just
me. I was
a
like,
lot of the stories where we're showing people who are working out at all ages of life. And you know what? You're never too old to get started. I mean, I'm only starting to get my exercise journey started now since I've been working with you, Brice, and I'm 38 years old. So it's you're never too old.
listen, I'm 42 and I keep getting myself, I'm constantly getting I feel stronger at 42 than I did at 22.
Yeah.
I feel
Same.
better at 42 than I did at 22. And I would say too, if I like, I've got multiple herniated discs. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
If you have herniated discs, that's common. Would you rather spend the rest of your life on medication and getting steroid injections, or would you rather just take a few minutes every day to strengthen your core?
And it really works.
Yeah,
People
I
heal
don't,
their
I'm not on any
bodies.
medication. I'm on no medication, you guys. And if my back starts to get sore from that, I know I need to, my core might have gotten a little weaker, so I need to go immediately. Let's get that core strong again. It's, oh, okay, thank you, body, for telling me. Let me focus more on my core today so I can realign that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Paula, we shared the most amazing. I watched it multiple times. I've cried watching it. A little boy who was normal until he was like 6. He had
Yeah.
like, was it on his pituitary gland? He had a brain tumor that developed.
Yeah. And then
And
he
I
gained
mean,
so much weight.
his
Yeah.
feet grew large. His body started growing in disproportionate. He got a lot of weight because he was always hungry. The mother took him to so many different doctors. They all said, sorry, there's nothing we can do. She traveled the world. She said she finally found a doctor who would take her son, but
Hmm.
she didn't say who. The next thing you see is her with her son in the gym. And she had traveled the world and basically studied different healing techniques and realized that the one thing that was going to cure her son was exercise. It was exercise.
Amazing.
And he's not in a wheelchair anymore. He's lost the weight. He can move like, and she did it with him. She figured it out for herself. So if a kid with a brain tumor who couldn't be without a walker or a wheelchair can do this,
Yeah.
you
We
can
got
too.
nothing. Yeah. We got no excuses.
No, don't be late. Most excuses, literally, Paula, are just lazy. They're just laziness trying to continue because body in motion stays in motion, but a body at rest is going to stay at rest.
Hmm.
And think about that great saying, a rolling stone gathers no moss. If you keep your body moving, you keep the fluids in your body moving, your blood moving, your body really doesn't have a whole lot to stick to it, right? Sicknesses, trauma. They were saying exercise actually does rewire the brain from trauma, from stress,
Oh,
which is what yoga's been saying. Like you want to deal with your anxiety, you want to deal with your scars, your emotional scars from the past, exercise.
yep.
Eh, Talk therapy is great. All these other things are great too, but nothing is going to do this quite like exercise.
Yeah. Because you
It
got to
literally,
move.
and I've been saying this for 5 years, haven't I, Paula?
Yeah.
People think I'm crazy, but I've studied spirituality for 19 years. The foundation of spirituality is what? What is the foundation? It is exercise. That is it. It is not your chakras. It's not channeling. It's not closing your eyes for 15 minutes and breathing. It's literally sweating. That's
Mhm.
what it is. That's the foundation. You can't be a great channeler or be a great this or a great that or a great healer if you don't have your foundation set, if you're not working your body in that way, because your body is not just physical. It's not just physical, it's also spiritual.
Mhm.
And that's what we're doing. So, anyway, I get so passionate about this. And
I
that
know,
does
me
kind of lead
too.
us. It's because it's so like, I keep seeing people like, okay, we've woken up. We know the world is not what we think it is.
Mhm.
But we still people see people clinging to their belief systems created by the false world. But
Yeah.
the false world is illusionary, but you're still clinging to these like beliefs taught to you by the illusionary world. If you know that the medical industry is illusionary, that it's not real, but yet you're still clinging to the lies they've told you, are you really awake?
Mm.
It can't hurt you. Exercising can't hurt you. It can only help you. So what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
What do you have to lose by believing in yourself, by giving you a chance to prove yourself wrong? Every time you step on that yoga mat, every time you put those running shoes, every time Paula goes to a new personal trainer and picks up weight, she's proving herself wrong.
Yeah. I
Any
really
held
am.
beliefs she had about herself, any held beliefs you have about yourself, oh, I'm not an athlete, I'm not coordinated, I'm not this, I'm not that. Any of these held beliefs you have, the minute you put those running shoes on, the minute you show up at the gym, the minute you show up at our academy, you are proving yourself wrong. You are
Yeah.
proving that voice inside your head wrong, that you are capable. And on top of that, I meant to say this before with the bar, with the fusion classes, which is really what's going to help you lose the weight. I was telling you, Paula, when we were in Florida, my boyfriend decided that he was just going to do bar for a week. It was easier for travel versus bringing like all the yoga stuff and the weights and stuff. He lost 9 pounds.
So
1 week.
amazing. 1 week. Wow.
1 week. Now, men lose weight faster than women do,
They
but just
do.
1 week, that's all
But
he changed was his workout. Didn't change his eating, didn't change anything. Just substituted his regular practice for bar.
so there you go. That's amazing.
1 hour a day,
Mhm.
9 pounds in 1 week.
Wow.
That's how fast his body responded to the work. So anyway, speaking of, we're gonna look at his. I know.
Yes. So he's got a
Let me.
YouTube channel
He's
now.
got a YouTube channel, you
Very
guys. I'm
exciting.
so proud of him. He's gonna make it fancier soon. He likes to think things through.
Mhm.
Whereas before I opened up my channel, I had everything planned out, my opening song, everything. He just kind of opened it. He's calling it The Confused Wanderer. So this comes from the Law of One, the title. He's going to put more information up. He's already got 136 subscribers and
I
he's
know,
got one
that's
video up.
amazing.
This was a video he did with Mariella Cruz about what's happening in the Ashtanga world right now, which kind of leads us into this whole concept we were talking about off camera, where people have been programmed, Paula, to believe that as spiritual beings, we just have to be kind and nice and peaceful and let people walk all over us. Yoga's the first place that yoga is spoken about in the old text comes from the Bhagavad Gita, which is from a bigger text called the Mahabharata.
Mhm.
The Bhagavad Gita means the song of God, and it's a section of the Mahabharata which is about a war, a literal war, right? And so it's telling you that spirituality and healing yourself is literally war. I mean, we see it right now in our world, right? Externally, the macro and the mic, we're externally in a war, the macro, we're in a war, but internally, we have to change ourselves too, like we were just talking about, rewire our own thinking. That's a war within ourselves, ignoring
Yeah.
that voice in our head. And so what's happened in the Ashtanga world is that so I'll look at so this is the thumbnail. So this is obviously Todd, and then this lady right here is Mariella, who's a colleague of ours. The
Mhm.
other lady is Saraswati. Patabi Joyce is the one standing by Todd, and the middle guy is Sharat, who is my teacher who recently passed away. And Todd, he knew Todd really well too. They were students together. He's the grandson of Patabi Joyce, the he's the grandson of the man standing by Todd, and he's the son of the woman. The woman is Patabi Joyce's daughter. Now, what has happened in India? The lineage yoga is based, well, it's lineage. So that's parampara, which means transmission of knowledge from guru to student. So
Mhm.
it's one-on-one teaching, and that's very parampara is not found in like vinyasa flow. It's only found in like traditional yoga, where it's still, you have to go to the source for it. You have to learn from this lineage, this family that is a lineage of this particular yoga. So it's passed on. So the person who holds the lineage is called the Param Guru. Basically, for a Westerner, that means like the headmaster or the CEO, right? They're the ones that in every industry really does. Like you can't like other doctors can't make somebody a doctor, right? They have to go to medical school. They have to go before a board. There's a board that there's a responsibility here. And the same thing is said with Ashtanga yoga. That's why it takes many years. You are given your authorization or your certification from one of the holders of the lineage. So they're like the board, if that makes, does that make sense? I'm trying to explain this in a
Yeah.
way that might make sense to Westerners. Now, to be the Parm guru, you have to be Brahmin and you have to be part of this family. This is a family business, in other words. So there are two levels of teaching. One is there's 500 of us who are authorized. 500 in the I'm authorized, Todd is authorized. There's only 47 people who are certified. So certification is like the last highest level that a Westerner can achieve in this lineage because we'll never be the Parm gurus because we're not Westerners. We'll never be able to make somebody else a teacher,
Mhm.
right? We have to send our students back to the source for them to go on that journey, which I really respect that because that keeps the lineage very pure and very unadulterated. It's not manipulated because it's coming from a direct source and there's a direct group of people who are responsible for deciding who teaches and who doesn't. But with certification, there's only 47 people in the world that are actually certified. My original teacher, David Grieg, was certified. This means that they've lived in India. I'm just giving you a rough estimate, like 10 years. They've finished practicing through like the middle of fourth series, which most people won't even finish second series. To be authorized to teach, you have to have finished first and second and into third series.
Mhm.
But primary series alone takes 10 years to learn. So this is very rare. For someone to be certified is very rare. It is not something that I ever have a, wanted for myself. First of all, fourth series, not many people practice it. You only really see fourth series in India.
Okay.
And it actually grosses me out, fourth series. Like I have a hard time watching it because it's so extreme. It
Wow.
makes me feel sick to my stomach. So I've never, like it looks like a little exorcism. I've never strived to be certified. That's not something most people, so people who get certified, it's extremely rare. You don't ask for it. You're just granted it. You have to have completed, be in the middle of, at least the middle of fourth series. Most people get certified because they started fifth series, which is even rarer. So it's these are very they're not elite people. We don't believe in elite people in spirituality, but they definitely have there's a certain je ne sais quoi about them. Most certified teachers are really humble. They're really nice. And they have a deep, not only have they physically gotten to a certain level in their practice, but they have a very deep understanding of the practice, a very deep visceral understanding, and they know the family. They've been with this family for decades, right? So the family trusts them. There's a huge trust there for them to be this particular level. Out of the 47 people, only 17 are women. It's mostly men because of the
Wow.
difficulty of this.
Okay.
And so, what has happened when Sharat passed away? There should have not been anybody authorized or certified for a significant amount of time. The only person living right now that can do that is Saraswati, the female on the far by Mariella
Hmm.
on the far left-hand side, regardless of how you're looking at this. For me, it's the left-hand side of the thumbnail. She's the only one alive that actually, her and her brother Manju, who live in California, they're the only ones left. And so it is up to them now to decide who is certified and who is authorized. And it's also up to them to train the next generation. So Sharat's kids are Manju's kids who have been in this family business for years. They're Brahmins. They're born into this. Like they are born into this. This very different culture than the Western culture to get them to a point where they can start doing that in the future. But there might be a hold, like people might not be authorized and certified for many years because this is very serious. To give somebody that legal permission to do this, you're putting other people's life in your teachers. Your teachers are representing this lineage. So what has happened is that a group of people flew immediately to India after Sharat unexpectedly passed away.
Hmm.
They manipulated his wife, who is not a part, she's just the wife. She's not a part of the family. I mean, not just the wife, but she's not in this. She doesn't teach, she doesn't practice. This is not her role. In India, people have roles. Like in India, you're very much designed, you're born into a role. Very different again from the Western world. They don't have as much freedom of choice as we do in the West. But she was manipulated. Now, from what we understand, Shruti, his wife, doesn't even know the difference between certification and authorization. She was manipulated by Westerners to certify all these people. Now, the batch that got certified are not actually qualified to be certified. They haven't done the physical work, they haven't been. And so Mariella was there at this time.
Hmm.
And she actually got injured by one of these people. And so she started speaking out. So we can say this group that has come in, for those watching, they would be considered the deep state of Ashtanga yoga. This is
Wow.
an insurrection. Now, Marielle has been speaking out. Todd has spoken out. Todd and I might be back in India in February. We're still not sure yet,
Okay.
to go see the Joyces. We've gotten a lot of messages from other teachers who are too scared to speak out, but they've given us support. I mean, listen, it's comical. I've already gone through so much on YouTube that I'm like, just send me all the hate because I'm used to it. But what's happening is this group of people that have infiltrated an insurrection to try to now take over. This group, they're white people, they're mostly Americans.
Mhm.
They are the people on their social media that talk about like white privilege, listen to all women, cultural appropriation. They're social justice warriors, they virtue signal. But what they have done is literally what they've been preaching against. They're white people who flew to India, manipulated an Indian widow who's mourning the loss of her husband, and now have tried to hijack this lineage for themselves.
Mhm.
They are trying to silence people like me who speak out. That we're seeing the formation of a cult, basically, is what we're seeing.
Yeah.
And the Joyce family has never been culty. The Joyce family, they run it like a school. They don't know where you're living. They don't know. It's very much like a school. They've never ever been controlling the Joyces, right? That's just not how they are. I've talked about that with Sharat. Never crossed lines, very hands-on in the classroom, but hands off outside of the classroom because you're a full-ass grown adult. You can make your own decisions,
Yeah.
you know. It's so this is what's happening. And there's one certified guy, and this is what makes me so mad, Paula. If you're certified, you should be like the Mac Daddy of yoga practitioners. And this one certified guy, I'm not going to say his name. He works for a university, so he runs his yoga program through a university here in the America. So he gets a salary. So he's never actually had to go through the struggle of building your own business as a yoga teacher, a Mysore program. He just gets money handed to him. And he's kind of working, it appears from the outside looking in, allegedly, I'll say, that he's kind of being the flying monkey for this group of insurrectionists.
Right.
So he tried to email my boyfriend to get me to shut up. He tried to email Marielle, like all these things. And Mariella actually said his name one time in a podcast and he shut down his social media. So the fact that she said his name one time with criticism, He shut his whole social media down. So
Wow.
he's obviously a coward. So for me, you just null and voided your certification. Because what's the point in practicing fourth or fifth series? What's the point in knowing all of this philosophy and knowing all these chants if you can't stand up and take criticism?
Yeah.
And if you can't stand up for the right thing to do, and just because someone calls you out and says you're acting like an idiot and you're acting like a flying monkey for a group of frauds who are doing the wrong thing, and you can't handle that someone's called you out for that and you shut down your social media,
Yeah,
then
that's
you're
really serious.
weak-minded.
Mm.
You're weak-minded and it's not okay. And so at this point for me, I mean, 2020 for me really showed me who I can learn from and who I can't learn from just because of everything that happened in 2020. I really paid attention in the yoga world.
Yeah.
But this really, I mean, at the end of the day, this is really showing us what people are really made of. And it's interesting because Neptune is in retrograde, and when Neptune's in retrograde, gaslighting doesn't work anymore. People who have built their platforms off of smoke and mirrors and charisma doesn't work anymore. They start to be exposed. And so that's what's going on. So I hope that kind of, does that make sense, Paula, before we
Yeah.
play some of this? So
Yeah. I
just
love
tell
how
me to
you explained it. Yeah, that was really
so
good.
hopefully this makes sense. And a lot of people in the yoga world are also being like, oh, just leave it. It's fine. You know, yoga, we got to be nice and kind. No, that's not.
No.
If you think yoga is about being nice and kind, you are very confused about what yoga is. You need to go read the Bhagavad Gita. The whole genesis of yoga started on a battlefield
Mm.
between right and wrong. And
And
if
you
we
have to
just let,
fight. You have to
you
fight
have to
for what
fight.
you believe in. And that's what true love is as well. Love is
Yep.
strength, it's courage, it's fighting for what you believe in. And
And
yeah.
what's right. And this
Hmm.
is what is happening in the Ashtanga world with these group of yoga thugs who certify themselves basically is wrong. There's no two ways about it. It's wrong. And they need to, Mariella's trying to get them to turn in, to give it up, to turn in their certifications, to make this known that this is wrong.
Yeah.
Saraswati did not sign those certifications. Manju Joyce did not. The signature you have on those certifications is not an actual value that is not signed by a Param guru. So, and people need to know this because they need to be warned before they practice with these people. They could get hurt. This is a very important issue. And so my boyfriend is very private, and but this has pissed him off so much because he has known the Joyces since like 1997, I think, late 90s.
Mhm.
So he's very close with them, and this has really
Yeah.
hurt him and pissed that,
Well,
that
they're
these
his
people,
family.
yeah, that they would take advantage of the Joyces like that. When you go to India and practice with these people, you get to know them very well. Like I've
You,
been in their houses, I've had
yeah,
chai with them. Like you get to know them so well, and you start to love them and respect them.
of
And to do
course.
this to a grieving widow
Yeah.
is just evil. So I'm gonna play this. You tell me to stop, Paul, if there's anything you want to talk
And
about.
what has been happening
So
in
let
the
me.
Ashtanga. Hi there,
So this is
this is
Mariella.
live.
Oh, and later today, Todd and Mariella are going to be doing another video together,
Oh,
just so you guys
great.
know. So make sure you follow Todd because he'll get it up soon.
Mhm.
Today we have a very interesting and important session with a wonderful friend of mine, with someone that I respect and that I know is gonna really pierce into many of the misunderstandings that have been happening in the last 9 months after my Guruji's Shara Joy's death. So my
So
name is
Guruji, so when you guys hear them say Guruji, that's like a pet name for your teacher.
Ah, okay.
And I want to clarify so when she says Guruji or Todd says Guruji, that's like a pet name for it's like teacher. It's very common in India. The G at the end, like if like Ravi, my dog, like if he was a human, well, I guess I can call him as I would call him Ravi G or Paula G. So like if I had kids and we
Hmm.
were in India, they might call because Paul and I are friends, instead of calling her Miss Paula or Miss Cummings, they might call her Paula G. Paula
Oh.
G. Like because that's the pet name that people have for people that are close to them. So I
Yeah,
just wanted to clarify that. So when you hear her say Guruji or him, that's what they're referring to their teacher.
right.
Mariela Cruz, and I am speaking from Madrid, Spain. And I am Costa Rican by origin, and I have lived in India for the past 7 years. I was the ambassador of Costa Rica to India, and I traveled a lot in India with the Ministry of Ayush, which is the ministry that is in charge of all the holistic sciences in India. So I have a pretty good perspective of what the Yoga Parampara means, but also
So parampara is that parampara, what I was telling you about transmission of knowledge from guru to student. So what that lineage base is what she's saying.
Mhm.
it's very refreshing to see how many of my colleagues that have been writing me privately are coming forward, are feeling this inner strength to stop being divided, let's say fragmented, and really speak what they have been thinking, what they have been sharing with me. And Todd is a beautiful example of this, and I'm so grateful. So since last February that I went to the Shara Yoga Center, I have been very shocked about what has been happening, about what happened there while I was there. So this is what we're going to speak about in this live. And before we start, I would like to offer this space to my teachers, all of my teachers that are alive and that are.
Pause it again quickly. She's about to do an opening prayer, quick chant that's blesses the teachings that we do in India. And just so you guys know, Todd is going to be doing a chanting course. We're actually going to sit down this week and start recording it. And this is one of the chants that he's going to do on the Esoteric Academy. So if you're interested in Vedic chanting, this is one of them he's going to do for the students at the Esoteric to learn.
Are in other planes, but that I know are here with me, supporting me. Sharaji always used to say, protect the Dharma and the Dharma will protect you. And the Dharma is the right thing, is the discernment to understand when something is wrong and when something is right. And even if we're doing all the advanced series in Ashtanga Yoga and we don't know what is right, then wow, we're gonna be in deep trouble, because that means that somehow we are lost. And I know many of us have been feeling lost after the passing, the premature passing of our teacher. But what I have to say is that people like Todd inspire us all to keep going and to never betray what he taught us. So please close your eyes. Let's ask all the teachers for their protection, for their wisdom. Let's ask them to give us the inner strength and the courage to speak our truth and walk the talk. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Namaha Hari Om Tat Sat. This mantra is very special because it speaks about the relationship between student and teacher. It speaks about the enthusiasm and the inspiration we give each other to keep going, the vigor, the strength that is needed in the spiritual path, because the path of tapasya, the path of sacrificing everything for everything, is the path of yoga. Yoga is about letting go of illusions, is about being true to ourselves. And what has been happening in the Ashtanga community in the past 9 months is something very sad, very serious. And that's why Todd is here. And I welcome you, Todd. Thank you so much.
It's going to go silent for a second, but then it pops back on, guys. Does that make sense up to now what she's saying?
Yeah.
The silence, it feels scary, it feels lonely, but at some point, if we don't do it, then we are going to feel really, really.
Pause 1 second. I just want you guys to know, Mariella, she has a super advanced practice. She's someone she practices into fourth series. She's had 7 children.
No way. I was going to say,
So
she seems like the most beautiful soul.
I'm hoping she'll do things on the academy coming up. I know she's about to head back. Her husband is Indian, so she's back and forth. She's got like 3 law degrees. She's got like 7 kids.
Oh,
So I
God.
know one of her sons. I met one of her oldest sons, one of my trips to India. He's a little like 10 years younger than me, but she's 7 children, you guys. And so and she's practiced through all her pregnancies and she has a super advanced practice. So anytime you think That's another
Wow.
example of like,
Excuses. There's
nope,
nothing there.
she's got 7 babies. I think she's got 6 boys and 1 girl.
Oh
So
my goodness. Wow.
I would love to hear her little girl's perspective on having 6 brothers.
Yeah, that's crazy.
All right, here we go. Here's Todd. And just
Oh,
tell me to stop anytime you need,
how
Paula.
are you?
Good. How are you doing?
So happy to see you. Good morning in Atlanta.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, of course.
I'm sorry Brice couldn't join us, but she will see this.
I was teaching
after.
during this time.
Thank you, Todd. So, the space is yours. I really am here just to hold space for you to speak. I have been speaking and writing too much, I think. So
No, you haven't.
now it's your
No.
turn. And I know that you are very close to Sharaji and the family. And I feel so honored to meet you and this deep respect that you have for the lineage. And I'm just all ears. Please,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you for being here.
So, a lot of people really aren't aware who I am because I don't really post on social media a lot. I haven't tried to become a public figure, but I've been in this community for a while. I started practicing with Patabi Joyce back in the old Shala. And my first trip was in 97, when there were very few people there. And Patabi Joyce was my first yoga teacher. I had never taken a yoga class until I showed up in Mysore, and I was self-taught until I came to the Shala back then, the Ashtanga Yoga Research Institute. And back then, we were allowed to, the Joyce family was very, very available to us. And so, we could spend a lot of time with them and get close with them and understand the family and their culture and the culture around Padam and traditional yoga. Yeah. And so anyway, I've remained quiet for all these years, just doing my thing, holding down a Mysore program, which I've held down a Mysore program now for 27 years consistently.
That's so wonderful.
Yeah, and was given permission to teach by Patabi Joyce, back in when was it 98, and was encouraged to start teaching by one of my other teachers, Tim Miller, because
He's one of the certified guys,
second
Tim
extended
Miller.
trip in Mysore, I moved to San Diego and I studied with Tim for an extended period of time. And when I was ready to leave, I was asking, where should I go in the Southeast to further my study? And he said, no, it's time for you to go off and to start teaching. And so when I got back to Georgia, I opened up a Shala in 99. And ever since then, I've been teaching 6 days a week.
Wow.
Mysore classes. Yeah. And so, I remained quiet. And then I saw, all this stuff coming up with these fake certifications and the skipping over of how this lineage works with Patabi Joyce, Sharat, and then Saraswati. Yeah? Right. And then during Sharat's passing, it wasn't many months after he passed, I see people posting certifications online. And then I start to question, how is this possible? How are we not talking? And people confused about, who the lineage holder was now. And it's obvious who that is.
Of course, and imagine I was there. First,
right, yeah.
First row, I was there.
Yeah, and you're the one who gave Brice and I clarification on what was really going on. And it's obvious there's a big cover-up happening here. Yeah.
It's dirty.
Actually,
it got dirty.
Last night, before I went to bed, and I had a really hard time getting to sleep last night after looking into this even more. I revisited the original post that popped up on my page by Tim Feldman, and in him acting surprised that he got certification. And I thought about it a little bit more and realized what a lie it is. He wasn't surprised. He wasn't surprised that he got certification. This was set up before any of those people got there. So this is all based on a foundation of lies. Shruti doesn't know anything about certification authorization.
Shruti is the widow.
She didn't even know the difference. And a mourning widow is not going to think about certifying people when she's still when Sharat's ashes haven't even really cooled off yet. And so there's manipulation going on in the background with this. It's obvious.
And just so he said that, guys, he wasn't being callous. In India, they cremate, they don't bury. So when he said his ashes hadn't even cooled off yet, that is how they bury, that's how they deal with death in India, is cremation. So he wasn't being callous when he said that. Basically, he passed away unexpectedly. We know that at his funeral, Shruti was trying to ask people what the difference was between authorization and certification, which means people were texting her, trying to manipulate her in her vulnerable moment
Oh,
because she didn't even know the difference.
oh my God. It's like she's trying to deal with the funeral
Or
for the loss of her beloved
got two
husband.
children who lost their dad. He was only 53. Like they weren't expecting this. And
No.
so for Tim Feldman to be like, "Oh, I'm so surprised I got certified." Bullshit. Because this woman knows nothing about this. She was
And
asking people at the funeral because she's being harassed by you guys to
yeah,
give
which
this
is
to them.
disgusting. And
It's
like,
disgusting.
yeah, I just feel so bad for her because that's the last thing she'd be wanting to deal with at that time.
Exactly. And so for her, so what they want us to believe, what Keena McGregor and Tim Feldman want us to believe is that all during this time while Shruti is dealing with the passing, the unexpected passing of her husband, she's dealing with her children, they've got this family business, they've got all this stuff going on. She's trying to frantically deal with this. They want us to believe that in the forefront of her mind, when all this is going on, she's
Yeah.
thinking, I'm
Oh,
going to
who should
surprise
I
these
certify?
people. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. When she doesn't even know half of these people, she's never there. Like, it's the fact that they have so blatantly lied to us, and it's so obvious, and they're not apologizing and they're doubling down is insanity to me. It reeks of narcissism. It reeks of an insurrection, of fraud, as he called it, exposing the Ashtanga frauds. And
Mhm.
the funny thing is Mariella, I've said this to her, Mariella is actually certifiable. Like in a good way. I know we say that sometimes in a bad way. Like she's met all the criteria to be certified.
Right.
So why were they certifying people who don't meet the
Yeah.
criteria? But she was there and she does. She wouldn't have taken it like they talk about. They would have turned it down because it's not right.
Mhm.
But that again shows that this was all a fraud. That
Yeah.
these people they certified are not even finished with third series yet. Like they're not there physically to be, they don't qualify.
And it's like they
So,
were
but being
just waiting for this prime moment because it just makes
right.
no sense that anybody should be getting any certification or
No.
authorization when he's just passed away.
No, nobody should have, not even authorized. Like nobody should
Yeah,
have. Um
nothing.
and and it's
It should
just
have just be just a nice calm break for a while, but just
and
so that she can
and
get
let the
everything.
family
Yeah.
and let the family deal with it and let the family figure out who's going to be in charge next. Let them feel figure it out within their family. Shar
Yeah.
also
Well,
has a sister, Sharmella.
uh-huh.
She's also she wasn't in this conversation.
Right.
And the danger too is because certified people have practiced so far further than most. They're the people that people who do have an advanced practice, they're the ones they seek these teachers out because a lot of people can't teach, fourth. I can't teach fourth, right?
Mhm.
So this is very rare. So these very rare people will seek them out. But if you got someone who says they're certified and they haven't practiced fourth series, but people are coming to them for help, we've got a shit show on our hand. We've got injury, which is why Mariella got injured because one of the newly certified guys adjusted her in a fourth series posture that he doesn't practice. And she got her back got almost broken, right?
Oh
She was
my
very injured
God.
by him. And that's why, and when I say certified guys, I don't mean 200-hour teacher trainings. Please do not come with that in the comment section. That if you are doing teacher training, shame on you. That's cabal. We're talking, you cannot, so people who are authorized, you have to, when you go to someone who's authorized, you know that that person, that teacher practices somewhere probably in third series, advanced series A.
Okay.
Because in order to teach Mysore, you have to be able to teach first and second series because that's all most people will ever practice is first and second series. It's so difficult that most people won't make it past second series.
Okay.
So the teacher has to be able to address all those students. But if a teacher is certified, not by the Yoga Alliance, that not a 200-hour stupid scam, that's a fraud. You've been scammed. If you take it, you've been scammed. Um, then you know that they can teach like third and fourth.
Mhm.
But if you've been certified and you can't, that's a liability issue. at this point too. So it's all sorts of wrong. It's all sorts
Yeah.
of wrong.
So many levels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so many levels. It's deceit.
People can
Oh,
gaslight them.
but if people are certified, they can't up their prices. They can charge more to teach workshops.
So that's why
Power.
I'm wanting it.
There's more power there.
All they want. People can ignore it all they want. But this takes the legitimacy out of these certifications.
Absolutely. And why do you think, many certified teachers and authorized teachers have been writing me privately and they don't come forward? Because
Right.
I myself, I have no clue, we're both
Right.
putting
Yeah,
our
yeah.
necks
No,
here.
and I've thought about that as well. And you know, it seems to me, I've thought about this a lot. It seems to me that through Kino's popularity, people feel beholden to her. For some reason, they feel as though they might get canceled themselves. And that's why it's going to take someone like myself and you
who don't care about being canceled.
Yeah, we don't care. In Ashtanga, I don't want to sound like a fundamentalist. We don't use props.
Yeah.
I don't need someone else to prop me up.
No.
You know?
No, and also, the love for Sharaji, it's bigger than any of those worries, at least for myself, because watching them completely destroy what he had built, that we saw him. I arrived in Mysore 6 years after you in 2003 when they had moved to Gokulam. But I saw the magic, I saw how hard he worked, how he grew in his sadhana, in his leadership. And for me, as a witness of everything he did, he gave himself completely. This is total disrespect. And now, like you say, Guru Ma, Saraswati ji, she is the holder of the lineage in India. And I would say Manju is the holder of the lineage in the US. Yeah. That's that's the right way. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. And so, it's upsetting that more people aren't speaking out, especially when they've reached out to both of us and have voiced their concerns.
Exactly.
I don't understand what we can in this moment in time we can lose the true meaning of Padam.
It's very delicate. You're right. It's very, very vulnerable.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and especially, since I'm married to an Indian and I lived in India for 7 years and I worked there and I work with the Ministry of Ajush that has to, supervise all the yoga schools and everything. I know a little bit about the Indian tradition.
Right.
And respect, we feel for our gurus. And it's such a karmic and deep relationship. And when we find our gurus, and imagine for us that we're Westerners, you in the US and me in Costa Rica, traveling in those times all the way to India, because we felt the pulling and we felt that deep connection from our soul, and then see it trashed by these people that have no right to it, that I don't know if they were maneuvering their way in with the family. I have no idea what happened, but I know that what I witnessed was wrong, and that I was one of the first victims of these newly certified fake teachers. Yeah. And now they're going back to India to teach again. Can you imagine? They just opened the application for the next.
So that's another issue too. There are 60 shalas in Mysore, India, 60 different institutions of learning for yoga. What they're doing now is they're opening up Sharat's Mysore room and they're having Western teachers fly in and teach for a month. And so now, why the hell would you fly to India to practice with a Westerner?
Yeah, exactly.
This makes no sense.
No.
And there's 60 other shalas in Mysore. So you're taking business
away, from the
So you get on these social media platforms and you scream about cultural appropriation and white privilege, but that's what you're doing. None of us, Mariella, Todd, and I aren't doing that. Nobody else in the community is doing that. You've lectured us for years. You wanted us to be forced to get these. This is an insurrection of people who are highly racist, highly bigoted, highly very much like the Gestapo of the Yahtzees, as we have to say on YouTube. same tactics. And Kino McGregor is Tim Feldman's husband, and she made a name for herself. She has a huge social media following. She doesn't really have students. Like that's she just wants to be famous. Like it's obvious. She there was a story, and I'll say allegedly, even though I know the story. She'd gone to the Taj Mahal. She does these famous little videos in famous places doing like a handstand. This is so embarrassing what happened. It's embarrassing as an Ashtanga practitioner. It's an embarrassing as an American that she did this. She went to the Taj Mahal and she got yelled at because she wanted to do a handstand at this great place of reverence. And she pitched a fit about it. Somebody caught it on film. She ended up posting about it and basically saying, "Oh, I agree with them. We shouldn't be." But my question is like, have you no like common sense and respect?
Yeah.
None of us are ever going to go to the Taj Mahal and do a handstand. Like, that's so disrespectful. I don't need the authorities to tell me that's disrespectful to know that that's
Yeah, that's
disrespectful.
just common sense.
That's common sense. It's bad behavior, but it just shows, like, I don't think anybody's ever told Kino no before.
Right.
She's very, in my opinion, narcissistic, very entitled. She's very famous. She walks around Gokulum like she owns the place. You're an American. And I'm telling you guys, and he gets into these big social media followings. There's no difference between a teacher who has no social media following and a teacher who does have social media following. You're probably actually going to get more valuable information from the teacher with the smaller following
Yeah.
because they're not so focused on themselves. Any social media presence they have, like Todd, is literally to market their business. That's it.
Yeah.
But with Kino, it's all about Kino. Me. I. That's all you see in her post. And so
Mm.
she's the one that maneuvered this, that walked in and like maneuvered this. She tried to triangulate Todd and me. She's done that to other couples before. It's crazy. So that's who he's talking about. And I've called Kino out before, and I asked her to come on my channel and talk things out because at that point I believed that she was a good person underneath it all.
Right.
But obviously, instead of her coming to me, she went to my boyfriend. So manipulation. That's called
Right.
manipulation and triangulation.
Instead of just
So,
talking to you
and
and
I invited her on my channel. I'll put a link to the video I did where I talked about these
Mhm.
and how that's not cool to force people to do that. That's actual crimes against humanity. And for a yoga person to do that,
Yeah, well, you'd think that yoga people would be the most,
holistic.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So that's who they're talking about, how this fake popul so she's created this fake facade
Hmm.
with all her followers on social media. It's a fake facade. And now that's being used to maneuver her husband, herself, and some other people into a place of power
Right.
in this lineage that they don't rightly possess.
And I'm
It's what
still just,
cults do. This is culty.
yeah, and I'm still just blown away that they're trying to teach over there, like run a Shala over there when it's like, why? Why? You go to
India
India
is
to
not a
be,
vacation.
yeah,
Listen, y'all, if you want to go study with a white person, go to that white person in their home country. It'll be
yeah,
far easier. It'll
yeah,
be far easier. India, you go to India for the culture, for
exactly.
that type of teaching, because white people, regardless of how long we spend in India, I'm not going to teach exactly like Sharat because I'm a Westerner. We
Exactly. Yeah.
teach differently just because of our culture demands it. So it's insanity. And so we're trying to protect all. And meanwhile, Saraswati still has her classroom open at the Shala. She's still teaching. Go to her.
Yeah. And
Her. Don't go to these.
support the Indian businesses, you know?
Yes,
I feel sorry
which is
for
her.
them.
It's crazy. They are maniacal. This group is evil to the core. Again, in the beginning, I was like, hopefully they apologize and they see their wrongs and they course correct. But now
It's
they've
just
doubled down. It's maniacal. It's evil. It's pure evil. It's pure service to self. And so I'm proud of Todd and Mariella for speaking up because
yeah.
they're going to continue to do what they're doing. They're going to continue on this course of destruction. They're going to continue to form their little cult. This is the exact same playbook that David Koresh played with the Branch Davidians in Waco. This is the exact same playbook that David Miscavige played with Scientology. It's exactly the same. What they're doing is no different than any other cult that is formed.
Hmm.
And so they're going to continue doing that. But I'm glad Mariella and Todd are speaking up so that people know they have choices.
Yeah.
They can go practice with people who aren't going to do this to them and aren't going to be a part of this whacked out insurrection that they've done. This deep state, that's why I keep saying they're the deep state of the yoga world. They are the deep state of the yoga world. This is an insurrection. This is fraud. There's nothing nuanced about this. Is stolen. Asteya is non-stealing. It's part of our code of conduct. They are stealing. They've broken that code of conduct. So anyway, I wanted to explain that a little bit more, but
Yeah.
all right.
Right. No, yeah, I just saw that. And
Oh my God.
I don't understand why they feel they need to keep the Surat Yoga Center open now when people
Exactly.
could just go to Saraswati, you know,
Absolutely.
and I don't understand why people from around the world would want to travel to India to study with someone outside of the Joyce family or outside of Indian teachers. Because like you said, there are many other shalas in Mysore. Now, and so why would we bring Western teachers into India and take the income away from the Indians?
There's a cultish culture that started happening in the following generations, not in mine, I think, but right after, including some of my students, and it was very sad for me to witness, you know, these behaviors, this lack of discernment, this sorry, the word as leaking everywhere. And especially the circle around Kino and Tim, that was very, very strong. But I cannot only speak about them because there were also certified teachers in this batch that I was in February. And they got their husbands authorized as a token for them assisting during that season. And that was wrong also. You know, you cannot get your hand into the thing and try to get something for yourself. And there were also, thank God, other certified teachers who went there and were also in shock about what happened. And they were vocal about it. And I thank them. I thank them, a couple of them. And this is important, Todd. This is important because for us, you know, it means, at least for me, 23 years of my life that I dedicated to my studies with Sharaji. And for you, you know, even more. So how does these behaviors of this circle affect the whole lineage and community? What do you think?
I mean, you know, it's simply just, it cheapens it. And and it just shows disrespect for the family, you know, more importantly.
And that means that those papers have no value?
Right. No value.
Any new authorizations or certifications that are given by that school have no value. And this is important for the new generations to understand that while Sharaji was there, he was a teacher, he knew the method, he had practiced the series, he understood the personalities.
Right, that's the important part, is he established a relationship with these students and potential teachers. And you know, and especially for certification, you know, Pattabhi Joyce would have to get to know you very well, know your practice very well, know your personality, you as a person. Also, you know, there was a certain, back then when Pattabhi Joyce was certifying people, you had to be have a certain quality to you, a unique quality. He wanted someone who was humble, now someone with a good system.
So to me, as an outsider who doesn't really know this world, I mean, it does seem like there's obviously some manipulation that's gone on in order to get the wife to certify them, because she hasn't even had the chance to
she's not, her signature means nothing.
Yeah, because she hasn't even had the chance to get to know them. Like,
that would be like if your husband is a doctor and writes prescriptions, that would be like the wife of the doctor who's not a doctor signing the prescription pad.
Yeah.
This is bad. Like, this is bad, but they've manipulated her. She's confused because that's what narcissists do. They're using her, you know, and these people claim to be so close to Sharat and blah, blah, blah. But after he passed away, it was very evident that they didn't give a shit about him. The way that they be. And do people know who Kino? Do you know who Kino is? Should I show people?
Because it just seems like, people are okay.
That's her.
Right.
so many stories about her that I've heard personally over the years. That's her and her husband, Tim Feldman. That I'm not gonna some stories people have told me in confidence that I'm not gonna share because they've told me in confidence. She's got a behavior problem. There's definitely, in my opinion, been a major behavior problem from her, and she's obviously it's very fake. Her whole she's very flexible, she's very strong, but I don't think that she should be teaching at all. Like I just don't think there's some Reddit people can read on Reddit some stuff about her. There's claims that when you go to Miami Life Center where her and her husband Tim work, that you pay all this money to go take courses with them, and then they like force you to clean the studio. And there's like all these allegations, very culty. And if you don't do it, then you're on the outs, like very culty,
Wow.
very, very culty. And this is just alleged, guys. There are some alleged complaints against her husband for being inappropriate with some female students.
Right.
I've heard things about their marriage, but again, this is just so I wasn't shocked to say the least to see these claims on Reddit. Now, Reddit is a cesspool in itself, so you always have to take things with a grain of salt on Reddit. But this has been a problem for a long time.
Hmm.
This has been coming, and a lot of people with that I know personally will say terrible things about Kino and Tim behind their backs, like concerning things, but they always fake it to their faces. And it's because they have so much power because of how much persuasion Kino has on the internet.
Yeah, well, it seems like she's really, yeah, like out there. Lots
Yeah.
of photos, lots of publicity.
And people
And
are like,
I
oh my
just
God.
think that I don't know when you've gone through from what it sounds like that you go through, especially, doing 10 years worth of Ashtanga yoga practice and going through all of the stuff that you go through, it makes you very humble.
If you have a soul,
Yeah,
that's my hypothesis.
and I
I think
just
we're seeing the organic portals,
right,
organic portal
because I just
people
kind of
who,
think, well, with Todd, like, he doesn't even want, like, he only you had to encourage him to get on Instagram so he could
same
get
with
his,
Mariella. Mariella's so humble. Like
yeah,
you can tell the
you can
people in
tell.
my hypothesis, the people who have souls are deeply affected by this practice in a very positive way and will do
Yeah,
the right thing and will respect the lineage.
right.
People who don't have souls will
Hmm.
behave, in my opinion, in the way Kino and Tim have behaved
Okay, yeah.
after so many years of practice. That is my opinion. I do not believe that they have a soul at this point. I
Because
think that they are
what else
organic
makes
portals.
sense? That you can't go through all of
Yeah,
that stuff and
behave this way.
behave like that. Yeah.
It's I think that's, we know that organic portals are able to get far in business and far in school because they're able to memorize and regurgitate, but organic portals can't take a practice in. They can't take it
Mm,
in, right? Like they can only regurgitate. So it's fake,
gotcha.
right?
Mhm.
Like you can have someone who's only been practicing yoga for a year, but they've really taken the practice in and they'll have more of a presence and more of an understanding than someone who's been practicing for 20 years who has no ability to take in the
Gotcha.
integrity of the practice within their
Mm.
own lives. And that's what I think we're seeing. And I think we started seeing it in 2020, but this is like my teacher Sharat used to say, you got to sweat and get hot and sweaty because like that's how you clean gold, right? You clean gold by boiling it so the impurities raise to the top so you can wipe them away. I think that's what we're seeing is the
Yeah.
impurities, the people without souls, it's very
Coming,
obvious now what's
coming up.
happening. So we can see them for who they are. And the
Yeah.
fact that they have not, and Todd even says at some point in this interview that he was waiting to say something because he was waiting to see if any of them would apologize and like realize in the heat of the moment that it was wrong what they did, give the certification back and make a statement. He was
Yeah.
waiting to see if that would happen. And it hasn't happened yet.
None of that. Yeah.
None of us happened. And so I think that that's why he started speaking out.
Yeah.
If one of them, if one of the people in this group that got certified were to speak up and return their certification, I would have even more respect for that person and would definitely encourage people to go practice with that person
Mhm.
because they've shown their character.
Yeah.
And that's more important. Like the little flying monkey who works for university, who closed his social media because Mariella mentioned his name one time in a podcast, like couldn't take the heat. But yet you're certified? But yeah, us authorized people are out here doing this and we're taking the heat and we're taking the beatings, but we're doing it because it's right. Who is
Yeah.
more yogic in this? Just because you practice fourth series doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean shit if you can't behave in the way a yoga person should behave.
Yeah.
If you are supporting this nonsense, in 2020, there was that meme that said, if you ever, I've often wondered what I would do in Nazi Germany. Now I know.
Yeah. Oh my
So
God.
now we know what these certified people would have, they would have joined the Gestapo. This guy who works for the University of, I'm not going to say where, he would have joined the Gestapo and gladly had supported the Yazis by his behavior. He had also, so back in 2020, Todd had posted a picture on AYA's Instagram. It was an old picture, actually. You could tell it was an older picture of a busy Mysore room of people adjusting, but it was an older picture. No one had a mask on, all that kind of stuff, because it was older. It was advertising for something coming up.
Mhm.
And he left a really snarky comment because no one had masks on, even though you could tell it was an older picture. And frankly, we didn't allow people to wear masks because they need to breathe.
How
It's a
can
breathing
you
practice.
do that kind of exercise with a mask
Exactly,
on? It's
exactly. So Todd would say to
insane.
people, he would
You
say to
would
people,
faint.
if you're not comfortable, then come back when you are, but I can't be liable because
Yeah.
this is a breathing practice and I need you to be able to breathe.
Yeah.
And so, but the fact that he was leaving snarky comments when meanwhile his business is given to him by the university he works for. He doesn't have to worry about client retention. He doesn't have to worry about paying the bills.
Yeah.
So we've already seen the cracks in this particular flying monkey, but no one ever calls him out because he's so quiet and he just works covertly behind the scenes. That's what I've noticed. He's very covert.
Right.
But Mariella said his name. She just flat out said his name, called him out on one podcast that she did, and now he's shut his social media down because he can't take the heat. And it's like, okay, you literally have just voided, null and voided your authorization, your certification, you've null and voided it because you can't even, you do these nasty, sneaky things behind people's backs covertly, trying to manipulate, reaching out to my boyfriend instead of me, and he
Yeah.
knows me. That's manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
Manipulation is a lie. That's what it is. It's dirty. It's dark. And now you're being called out for this shit and you close your social media down? Like,
Yeah.
you have no spine? Like, do you have no, like, you're not, in my opinion, you're not a yoga teacher. You're nothing. You're a faker. You're a fraud. Just like Kino and Tim are frauds and fakers. You have no integrity. If you have no integrity, you don't need to be teaching yoga. And that's where we are now. And I think, as you said, Paula, I think that's the answer to that. This is my hypothesis after studying the law of one, learning about organic portals or NPCs, 50% of the population we know does not have a soul. I think we're seeing stuff like this shows us exactly who the people are. Obviously, Todd and Mariella have souls. Obviously. Obviously, Paula and I have souls. We've taken a lot of shit to do the right thing. These people, in my opinion, do not have souls. That's why they're able to do this and sleep perfectly fine at night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not feel guilty. Like I would feel so guilty. Like if I were these people or the guy that's emailing people from the university, I would feel so unbelievably guilty for what I had done. Like who raised you? Like that's also my question. Like who raised you? Like I have a lot of complaints about my childhood, but my parents raised us to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. So I know you have to go in a minute, Paula. Are you good for a few more minutes or what do
Yeah.
you want to
Yeah.
do?
I've got until 7:50.
Okay, cool. All right, and I'll tag this down below, guys, so you can watch the full episode if you want. And Mariella's coming back on today with Todd. They're going to film it today, so he should have it up in the next couple of days too. So please make sure you subscribe to him. He's going to do other things too. He's got a whole plan of stuff to put up on his YouTube channel.
That's so exciting.
Humor,
I know.
someone that didn't take themselves too seriously or the practice too seriously.
So he's talking
That's-
about how Patabi Joyce picks people to certify, that it wasn't just the physical practice, he was looking at their
Yeah, it's getting to
personalities.
know them and like you're saying, having something unique about them. Yeah.
There's some je ne sais quoi about them that would make them
And,
strong teachers and
yeah,
good
and so
teachers.
that's why I was just saying, like, as an outsider, that's straight away that just seems so suspicious because it's like, well, how has sorry, I forget how to say her name, the wife, but
You
it's
know?
just like if she has not even had a chance to get to know these people,
Oh,
then how
surety.
can,
Yeah.
yeah, then how can she?
Oh yeah, because it's fake. It's not,
Yeah.
this is an absolute insurrection.
Mhm.
And if somebody is, if here's something for people to ponder too. If you're willing to do this, if you're willing to manipulate a vulnerable widow, then you're not certifiable material.
No, because you would
Because
have already been certified, or you'd be happy to wait
yes, so you'd be
until,
happy to wait. Yes,
yeah,
you're not cert. If you're going to manipulate someone when they're vulnerable from losing their husband, you're not certifiable material. It doesn't matter how far
yeah,
you've done physically in the
that's
practice.
just a
You're
red
not
flag.
yeah, so you're not certifiable material.
Same time, we're very passionate about the practice, that understood the process, that had a respect for the family and the lineage.
And had also mastered the series, at least the first
that as
3
well. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a reason why so few people are certified.
47. Yeah. We're not counting the 5 in February. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Wow, 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
5 people in February, that insurrection. Yeah.
Because at least when I arrived there and I started like hearing about the certifications and how inspiring these teachers are, those that were certified by our gurus before this mess. It was an inspiration for all of us, not because we wanted the certification, but because we understood that it was possible to go that far, to be so passionate about the practice, to completely surrender to your teacher, to trust them. For me, that was my inspiration. That kept me going also. And now to see these papers in the hands of people that are shameless, I have nothing to say, but because I have asked them to relinquish the certifications and give an apology. Anybody can make a mistake. We are all mourning the death of our guru. And say, step back. This is not okay. This paper, I don't deserve it in these circumstances. Like we were speaking the other day, if they had offered us that paper, what would you have said, Todd?
I wouldn't have entertained it at all. No.
No, this is absolutely upside down.
Right.
So what happens now is that the new generations think that things are the same, and that they can go there. And we know that a Mysore room is a very, very delicate space, that there's a lot of energies happening there. And as teachers, we are holding space for others to go deep into their sadhana. What happens if the teachers who are holding that space are not, let's say, connected into themselves or have a further agenda or are doing it for some other vicious intentions? What happens to the students?
Right. Yeah. It's not a good situation, And when people are using things like that, maybe just teaching at the shala or getting these fake certifications, to try to bolster their reputation or their street cred, and
their followers.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So they can post their pictures, in Instagram posts. And for me, I really tried to steer away from that. I tried to build trust and merit when my students on an individual basis. I actually enjoy that, the building of a relationship with a student, someone who comes in and doesn't really know me. I don't know them. They don't know much about the practice, and we start Surya Namaskar A, Surya Namaskar B, and slowly from there, building up a relationship, and trust, and not relying on, fancy social media to build, a fake reputation, really, a fabricated reputation.
Absolutely.
And so I'd rather start from the bottom and work my way up with each student coming in individually, because it's not, at the end of the day, it's not really about me. It's about the practice, and it's about my love for the practice and how much the practice has done for me, and the enjoyment I get from sharing that with others and going on that journey with them, each individually. Yeah. Not about my personality, not about my reputation online or my story online. Most of my students that come in don't understand my past. They come in thinking maybe I did a teacher training or something, which is sort of embarrassing, but But still, they
No,
don't know.
usually they don't ask you, who are you? You know, who's your teacher? They don't. They just
No,
come.
they don't. No, no,
Yeah.
and it's fine. It could be that way. You know, it is that way,
Yes,
and
it is
I'm
that way,
comfortable
you're
with
right.
that. You know, it
Yeah.
takes some time for them to get to know me and to get to know what kind of teacher I am. You know,
Mm,
and then maybe
mm,
they'll go off and they'll practice with all these personalities. You know, that they saw on social media.
mm,
You know, that has 100,000, 200,000 followers, and they think that they're going to go and experience a teaching that's maybe deeper than mine or more inspirational than mine. And then they come back and they realize it's not all about social media. It's not all about these fake images that people have created. Yeah. And so we have to be careful with that, you know?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think, you know, after internet came in, you know, in the 2000 it started, but then it got really bad after the 2010, and then that we all somehow had to deal with it, you know, like right now we are using this tool, you know, I think in a very interesting way to speak against the current, and
Right.
which is not popular, which, you know, we're being so trolled, all of us, and
Right. Yeah.
we really don't care, because it's about something bigger than us. At least
Right.
that's how I see it for myself. Yoga, Sharaji used to say this: yoga is bigger than us, and yoga doesn't belong to anybody. But there's this tradition that is sourced in India, so it should be taught by Indian teachers.
Right.
It should be this river of knowledge, the Vidya. It should be transmitted in a very coherent way. And the Indians have a whole, you know, they're born into this culture, and we Westerners barely understand it. We take a little bit, you know, and then we twist it, like we say, and then we post it, and we basically destroy it.
Right.
And this is what has been happening not only with the Ashtanga lineage, but with all types of yoga in this Kali Yuga.
Yeah, and you know, in social media, it's important now. You can't avoid it, but at the same time, you can overdo it. You know, I mean, Patabi Joyce didn't want us putting out too many flyers back in the day when we didn't have social media to post on. You know, he didn't want us having too many pictures of ourselves to inflate our egos. You know, and didn't want us going out and teaching too many workshops. He wanted us to hold down a Mysore Shala. You know, because that's where the true teachings can be transmitted, not through workshops. That's like yoga candy. Yeah. And we can't subsist on candy. You know?
And for the student, the teacher hopping doesn't really help. You know?
No.
You need a commitment with one teacher, one method, and many, many years. And also all these newly let's say teacher trained teachers opening schools, and people are so desperate now in these times, taught that they, you know, they don't know the difference. That's maybe why we're doing this, because we are both teachers that were there in times that social media was not so prevalent.
Right.
And also the culture of the yoga celebrities, for me, it was always a monster. It was really disgusting. It was just like this, oh my God, they are the sacred cows in Ashtanga.
Yeah.
What is that? You know, we're all the same. We're all in the same predicament. We are in this world trying to move through our karmas, and nobody is better than anybody else.
You know, I think that's something that really changed in the modern Ashtanga scene compared to back in the old Shala is there was no separation really with the newer students of Patabi Joyce and his senior students and teachers. We would all just hang out together. I would say that I probably learned just as much from hanging out and talking with his senior teachers and students than I did with him. Yeah. And me coming in, I had, you know, yoga at the time when I was studying with Patabi Joyce was not popular, especially Ashtanga. There are very few studios, especially for me. I came from a small town in Georgia. No one had been, before I showed up in India, I had never met anyone that had practiced yoga before. Okay.
Wow, that's beautiful.
I was completely green. Yeah. I had taught myself through a book and a video that I got introduced from a young men's magazine called Details Magazine. Okay. I was actually working as a commercial photographer at the time. And one of my clients gave me this magazine because he wanted some modeling shots done, and he had some pages turned over of some lighting he wanted and things like that. And so I was actually working in the dark room, and I put some film in the developer, and this is back in the day of film. And you have to sit in the dark room while I was being processed, but then you can turn on the lights. And so I was sitting in there looking through this young men's magazine, and there happened to be an article that was done by a freelance guy that had just got back from Mysore studying with Patabi Joyce. And as soon as I saw those pictures, I was like, what in the world is this?
Wow.
And so read the article like 3 times, ended up getting the Yoga Journal magazine, and ordered Richard Freeman's video from the back, VHS video.
Yes.
So immediately,
Richard Freeman's a very
day,
famous teacher. He's awesome.
I put it in. And from that day, for the next 32 years, I practiced 6 days a week. And eventually I started saving up my money immediately. And a year later, I was knocking on Patabi Joyce's door, and still had never taken a yoga class, had never met anyone that had done yoga. I just knew that this is something that I wanted in my life,
Yeah, once you start doing it, you fall in love even more. It's just like it takes you deeper and deeper, and I know it's challenging. And it has a bad rap because it's hard and it demands a lot of courage.
I absolutely thrived on that. I love the intensity.
Oh yeah, no, and the magic of Mysore in those days. I mean, we were there. We were like so lucky. That's all I can say. So lucky. Yeah. But what do we do now, Todd? Please, and I encourage.
I think that I think we just keep talking about it.
We just keep talking. And I see a lot of our colleagues here in this live. So please come forward. Please join us. Somehow you want to do a live with me? Please, I'm here for all of you. We can keep speaking about it because it's not fair what they're doing. They are taking something for themselves from something that is so sacred and that belongs to the whole of humanity, not to themselves.
And I think, I think that one of the best things people can do if they're not willing to speak out is just acknowledge Saraswati as the Param Guru.
Absolutely. That's what I've been telling my students.
From here on out, I think that's what we should do. That's the least we can do, is to acknowledge that. And then, of course, Manju. I'm sorry, I don't mean to forget Manju.
Yes, of course.
I've never met Manju, but what I've heard and the videos I've seen, he's an incredible person.
Yes.
His heart is in the practice. I see his daughter starting to teach, which is incredible.
Beautiful.
And so I send my support to him as well. But
of course,
in the sense of being in India, holding it down, Saraswati.
Absolutely. So don't fall for these traps, because in the path there are many traps, and they look very nice, and they're not necessarily safe.
And something else people can look into are these documentaries about how a Westerner comes in and hijacks, even like Kundalini. Okay, so it's not real. It's not real Padampada. The guru is fake. Not really a guru, but still, you can see how a Westerner came in and hijacked.
Absolutely.
That quote unquote tradition.
That documentary was super shocking, and it has happened.
It has happened, and there's a playbook that people
follow.
Follow. It's happened in cults. There's plenty. You can look into
this is culty
Scientology and see how David Miscavige,
my goodness,
did the same thing. It actually Brice has a YouTube channel, and she has done a lot of really deep dives into cults, and she's really connected with a lot of ex-Scientologists, and they have been contacting her, like people that were high-level Scientology, people that you see on Netflix specials about Scientology. Brice has a relationship with these people, and they're contacting Brice and saying, this has all the signs of what happened to Scientology, And
it's a playbook.
What happens to when cults are formed? Because usually when a cult is formed, it's someone from the outside who comes in and hijacks it and tries to replace the charismatic head of that before it was actually a cult. And they're the ones that turn it into a cult. They start isolating people. Anyone that goes against them, they start to harass.
Me?
Yeah, right, exactly. and so you can look for all the warning signs. They're all there. It's just what happens is people are quiet, the members are quiet, and before they know it, it's too late, and they can't speak out. No one. They've already isolated the other members. They've already smeared them. They've already started huge smear campaigns.
Absolutely.
Intimidation. Yeah.
Yeah. They have been trying to silence me, and I'm sorry. I have my Guruji's inspiration. I won't be quiet because this is not right, Todd. This is not right. And we need to speak up and acknowledge Guru Ma Saraswati Ji. She is in India. If you want to go to India, please go study with her. Yeah. And I'm gonna apply for next year. I can't wait. I'm still healing from my back injury. Yeah. But I know that she's the way, and Manju, like you say, also, it's like we are very, very privileged to have them. You know, the loss of our Guruji is so devastating, but there's hope. That's what I feel right now. And with you coming out, I'm so glad. Yeah, because I really, at the end of the day, since I've kept to myself for so long, I really can't be canceled. You know, whatever smear campaigns you want to create. Whatever you'll create about me, that's fine. I won't lose one student, and I won't lose one potential student. That's beautiful. Yeah. Well, I've lost a lot of things, but I don't care, really, because if you're fighting for the truth, that's the meaning of life. That gives meaning to your life. And especially that's a way of, in a way, honoring my teacher. And we both loved Sharaji, and I know Brice also, and many of us who love Sharaji, we need to be with our eyes wide open, because some people are really hijacking. They hijacked the lineage last February, right there in front of everybody, and smiling like if nothing had happened. And we were in the process of mourning, of deep sadness, and all of a sudden, these people are taking things for themselves without the merits on top. Right. It's beyond anything, Todd. So let's keep doing this. And if anybody wants to join us, please do come forward, because I know it's scary to go against the current. It's scary because, like, in these social media days, we're going to be canceled, we're going to be trolled, we're going to be... I heard these people even had armies of trolls in Romania. Yeah.
Those are bots. Bots come from Romania.
They're going to send against us, and that's fine. You know, because
I've been through it before. I got thick skin, so... Yeah.
We are protected by our Guruji's grace. That's what I feel, really. And it was no coincidence that all this happened in Guru Purnima, right? Because I had already let go of any hope of finding any support. You know, I was sometimes asking myself, maybe I went too far. And when you came out, and I said, no, no, this was right. This was completely. I was not loony like they have been.
Yeah, no, and and I was giving it a pause because I had thought about coming out sooner. I was giving it a pause and just seeing if anyone else was going to come out. You know, I mean, Laruga, she had some stuff to say, and her husband did. And I respect them for that. Yeah, and I just think that in time, more people will come out and say something. You know, but really, all that needs to be said is that Saraswati is the Param Guru, and she's the only one out of India that can certify and authorize people. Yes. And I'm sure if there's someone who deserves it, that she will happily give that to them.
And I know, like Johnny is writing here, saying that their method of teaching is differently, but more than the asana or the method, for me, what matters is to be in a space that is spiritually protected.
Yeah.
Right.
Because when I was in that shala in February, it felt dark. That's how it felt, Todd. It felt scary. Teachers were there, but they were not empowered. They were not being channels of the energy. Right. And when all these events happened, of course, because there was a lot of darkness in this. For me, what matters the most is to be in a space where I can let go, when I can surrender, when I can, do the practice, even if you do have primary, it doesn't really matter, where you feel safe. And when you don't get injured like I did, because I got injured because that darkness was in the room. That's what I have to say.
Right. And I do recognize that the teaching is a little different, but you can also look at it as a pilgrimage, back to
I think that's a
India.
good place for her to
Somewhere
stop
that
it.
you can.
She's about
Yeah,
to sign
I'll
off
have to
anyway. So
get going in a sec, but
yeah.
I'm really proud of both of them for standing up and talking out about this, because this is really, really important, and this happens in so many things.
Yeah. So even if you're not in the yoga world, there are
Yeah,
lessons to be learned here. Because as he was saying,
yeah,
yes, I have been in communication with ex-Scientologists. My
yeah,
friend Kelly from Nixie, I'm like, this isn't
yeah.
the tale as old as time. This is not exclusive to the yoga world.
No.
This is how cults are formed.
Hmm.
These are malignant narcissists, in my opinion, that have come in, they've done an actual insurrection. They've hijacking a lineage. They're using the vulnerabilities of a widow to get
Yeah,
more power for themselves, to label themselves as potentially the Parm Guru when they're not. That's not their role as a Westerner. And so, and I liked how Mariella said the practice is hard. Ashtanga yoga is hard. We know that we just talked about how uncomfortable
yeah.
you get. So the most important thing that you have when you're embarking on this practice or working out, I know you love your personal trainer, Paula, is that
Mhm.
you're with a teacher that you know is going to be tough on you, but is also going to make you feel safe.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
going to make you feel safe while also being challenged.
And not injuring you by pushing you
Yeah.
too far, or putting you out of, like, getting to know your body. And
Doing an adjustment they don't know how to do. We're
yeah,
trained with these adjustments. And if I don't know how to do an adjustment, I'm not going to do it.
yeah.
Right?
It's
So
great.
so that's integrity. So it's an important conversation, and they're going to be doing another interview today at 10 a.m. our time here, Friday, August 1. So hopefully he'll get up. He's still learning YouTube. So I think
Oh,
he wants to do some cooking. So there's other stuff he wants to do on the channel to you guys. It's going to be a multi-praying channel. And I think he's going to do some channeling stuff, all that kind of stuff. So make sure you go subscribe to it. And he is over on the Academy as well. Tapala did interviews with him
yes,
over on
they
the
did.
Academy. And so he's
They
going to
were
be doing some
great.
Vedic chanting as well. So, all right, Paul, well, I know you got to get going, so I'll let you
Yes,
go.
great
And
chatting with you.
you too, guys. Let us know if you have any questions about anything weight loss, the Academy, all that kind of stuff down in the
Yeah,
comment section below.
please comment or email us, because we want to help you as much as we can. We want to answer your questions and support you on your journey.
Yes, absolutely. All right, you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.